What y'all talking about? What y'all talking about? What y'all talking about? What y'all talking? What y'all talking about? What y'all talking about? What y'all talking about?
If you ain't talking the real, then we ain't gon' talk to ya.
What y'all talking about? What y'all talking about? What y'all talking? What y'all talking about? What y'all talking about? What y'all talking about?
If you ain't talking the real, then we ain't gon' talk to ya.
What's up?
What up?
This is YTAP coming at you.
YTAP is up in the house, and I am T-Man, a.k.a. T-Mandible, b.k.a. Anthony Huff. Wait, and Ashy Kneecaps. Ashy Kneecaps.
Just kneecaps?
Yeah,
Nothing
Ashy.
else?
Well,
Lord.
Ashy elbows, too.
Sound like my husband. This is Nicole, a.k.a. Sunshine. But Mr. Hoof and my husband has something very much in common. I think it's all men that just get out the shower, don't put on lotion or anything else. What is that? Why? I leave it on the kitchen sink.
I got lotion
The
right
counter.
there. When I get out, I walk right by.
So this is they. And I was like, okay, you actually like your daddy. No, I didn't marry your daddy. I married you. Put on some lotion.
I know the other day I was walking around without no socks, but it looked like I had some on. That was Ashy feet.
That's bad.
That's bad. What socks are those? You got some Fruit of the Loom socks on? No, that's just my skin. That's ash.
You know that's bad. You know you're supposed to, wintertime, us color folks, we get ashy. You have to make sure you put the cocoa butter on so your skin stays moist. If not, it'll start cracking and everything else.
Especially with this disrespectful wind we got. Oh, my God.
The wind is beyond disrespectful.
Oh,
Almost knocked me over saying,
man, that wind's so disrespectful.
I had to carry the coat with me.
Man, I was walking around with my cup of tea, and then, like, the wind blew all like, over the thing and made that little whistle that you do with it go, whoo. I'm like, man, it probably cooled my whole tea down, man. It was, some bull crap.
In the middle of the night, when I get up to pray and everything, it's like I thought somebody was breaking in the window with the wind.
Man, that wind's so disrespectful, man. It blew me into work.
Look, I had to hold the door because I was getting out, and I was afraid the wind was going to blow it open and hit somebody's car. I wasn't trying to help.
Yeah, man, that went disrespectful, man.
Yes, it is. But that's Buffalo.
It was just warm last night.
I know.
About 60 degrees last night, and then I went to sleep and woke up to the wind beating my windows up. Who trying to get in my house?
So, everyone, we are going to set the tone and talk about life insurance, financial stability. I have seen over last year maybe 25 GoFunds for people to help bury somebody in the family.
Right.
And I can honestly say one of them was my family members. But with my family member, we had 3 deaths in the family it was my uncle, early July. Hey, Roz. Hey, everybody for joining in. But in July was my Uncle Lou. So all the siblings paid for his funeral.
Right.
Then was my Aunt Dot. Then the family paid for her funeral.
Right.
Then, towards the end of last year, towards after Thanksgiving and stuff, was my Uncle John.
Man.
So we had to do a GoFund for Uncle John because the family was basically tapped out. Funerals cost over $10,000.
Man, funerals ain't no joke.
Unless you get someone cremated. Now, cremated is like $800 to $900 or $1,000. But having a funeral, like casket, like paying for a casket. Then, if you're having it at the funeral home or the church, you have to pay for transportation. You have to pay for them to bomb.
It's too much.
Transporting the body from the hospital or wherever the person passed away at to the morgue. Whatever it is, if you have a normal funeral home and a funeral service, it's over $10,000.
And that's a lot of money. If you ain't got it, a lot of people don't have it.
It's a lot.
A lot of people don't have it.
But see, a lot of people don't have it because they don't plan ahead of time.
Right. Right.
But see, you could plan ahead of time by going to a funeral home. It sounds morbid, but really you're thinking ahead to protect your family and their assets. Why should people have to try to put money together to try to have the funeral when you can already leave everything all planned out and paid for, so that way the family can grieve and not have to worry about, oh, we got to get all this money up. Where we getting it from? And start asking and hitting people up for it.
I said just burn me.
But see,
That costs money too, but
it's $800. But that's not in the Bible.
burn me and then
It is not in the Bible.
Okay.
You will not be burning me.
Well,
Mr.
burn me-
Shamark Dalton,
burn
I better
me-
be buried next to you, but
Well,
I'm going to go
well,
after you,
well, you can burn
because
me and-
Mama is staying
you can
praying.
burn me and then put me in the dirt.
You know what? You know what? You was like, just burn me and just pay the $800. Really?
Pay the 800, save the rest of the
Really?
money.
No.
All you doing is
I
paying
want a blowout funeral. Okay.
I want to be propped up like this.
No.
No.
I'm sorry. I
That is
love
so
you,
scary.
partner,
That is
but
so-
that
that
would
is
give
so
me the
scary.
heebie-jeebies. That would give me the heebie-jeebies.
I see those things, man. Those guys on motorcycles.
Yes, that's morbid.
Dude
Oh,
sitting there
now
like he playing
that's
the video
sick.
game.
Just lay me in my coffin, dress me up nice, do my hair, and have me looking right. Don't have no messed up makeup artist. Don't have me looking all a holy mess. No. Have me looking like a real pure deaconess. Okay?
But-
Don't have me looking awful. You know they had somebody. Oh, my Lord. There were some funeral homes where you said they had the guy sitting up in a chair like he's a king, but he was dead. I was like, ooh.
I feel bad for the people who got to get them and put them back in the thing.
No, I can't do it.
Oh, I seen one where the guy was propped up like he was playing the video game.
No.
Shades on, so it looked
No.
like he there. Like,
Let's
oh,
have
what's up,
some
y'all?
decent funeral homes and decent funerals. Not no funerals where you're going to scare people
Nah.
and leave a bit. I want to remember you the way you were when you was alive. Don't have me remember you looking all messed up.
Well, yeah, that's some scary stuff. Scary stuff having propped up.
Okay. And I can't do funerals. And I know their body is just there. It's not, their spirit is gone when they die.
Yeah.
But when I was 15, I'm going to tell you a brief story before we get my cousin on. I was 15. My grandmother passed away in the hospital. My grandmother Hazel. And when the family comes, the family has to identify the body. But it has to be the children or the spouse. Well, my grandmother didn't have a spouse anymore, so it was the children. So my mom, my aunt, and all them. Yep, right, Robin? My mom had to sign the paperwork because she was power of attorney of my grandmother at the time. So my aunt, my mother's sister, Aunt Margaret, was like, come on, Nikki. Nikki is my family nickname. Nikki, come on, let's go down and we'll go recognize and, identify the body. Don't ever ask a child or a teenager to go with you to the morgue, ever. How you ask a child? So I went, because I really wasn't thinking. I was like, okay, I can handle this. I got this. They pulled her out in the basement. There's the morgue at the hospital. So they pulled her out. She's on the slab. And she let out her last breath, and her eyes were still open. Pew! I was out. I was like, Nikki, I was gone. I was gone. I was crying. I was screaming. I told my Aunt Margaret, I was like, how you do that to me?
That's scary,
I
man.
was gone.
Especially for kids. That's
Never,
kids.
ever do that to a kid, to a teenager. No,
Shoot,
man.
I was grown.
I thought she let out her last breath before we got... Man, listen.
Yeah, that's some scary stuff. I'd freak
Woo,
out
I
myself.
was... Pew!
I would freak out.
I was gone. I was ghost. My aunt said she turned around and was like, where?
Where'd she go? Where'd Nikki go? Nikki!
I went upstairs, told my mother, I was like, hey, Morgan's crazy. She had me down there. Grandma's eyes were still open. I was like, and then I flipped out on them. I was like, how you didn't close my grandmother's eyes? What's wrong with you, man? Like, look, I lost it for a minute.
That sounds
I really did. Robin said, that's why I want a veil laid over my face. Don't say, oh, don't she look good or she look, you know, I'm with you, Robin, for real. No, I can't.
Well, sometimes when some people pass, they don't even look like the same person before they pass.
No, because if they had cancer or AIDS, their body's not the same.
It's not the same.
And my thing is, if you was really sick or ill, have a closed casket.
Right.
And just have a nice, beautiful picture of you back in the day where people could really remember you and not what you look like now when you die. It's like, let me remember you the way I remember you. Don't let me remember you when you were sick and ill.
Right.
Because all the chemicals and toxic that's pumped into your body sucks you dry and makes your skin different, changes your color.
Everything.
And my thing is, like, if I die and I died with a disease, cancer, or anything else, God willing, never, you know, but just keep my casket closed, blow up a nice picture of me, and let's remember me that way.
Right.
But some people have open caskets still, and I'm like, come on. People say, you gonna go? I was like, no, I'll sit right here. I'll remember them the way
sometimes
they were
an
when
open
they were
casket, though, some people look at the open casket as, you know what I mean, this is my last chance to see this person. Maybe they didn't see that person in a long time. Sometimes they use that open casket as, okay, this is closure that they're really gone. Like some people, I had a conversation with one of my buddies. He was saying that he didn't want to go to one of his family members' funeral, but he was like, I think, and it was open casket, and he was like, that just gave him closure. You know, it gave him closure. I get the closure
looking at the obituary. I get closure looking at the picture. I will not go up to the casket. All my family members can tell you, Nikki will not go up to the casket. And some of my family members kissed my grandmother on the forehead. I was like, I can't do it. I was like, I love grandma, but that ain't grandma no more. Grandma's in heaven. No, I can't.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, and I can pray with you. I will pray over you. I will pray for you. But when it comes to a dead body,
gone.
And when I enter a funeral home, I get that sick knot stomach in my pit of my stomach. And I'll go there and I'll be just like, Lord, just keep me until this is over. Just keep me until this is over. Just keep me. I will repeat that in my head because I can't take. I grew up so much around death. It's like I'm not immune to it. I just can't take the smell. The smell. It's like, you know, right when you hit the door, before you even turn open the door, it's like...
Yeah, it's...
Well, I can't do it. I'm like, that smell. I'm like, I can't do it. Am I lying, y'all? Seriously, can y'all take that funeral home smell? Because, man, listen, I can't do it. I'm like,
what is that smell? What's that funky smell?
Love, I will work with you. I'll do the obituary with you and everything. Well, the funeral home director I was speaking to, since I know a lot of them, due to, like I said, we've done a lot of, right? Right, Manny? He was like, nope, I know. I ain't got that to do. I can't do it. So, the funeral home person said what everybody should do, write out your obituary. It sounds morbid, but he said write out your obituary so you know exactly what is going to be said at your funeral.
That's smart.
And he also said what you can do, you could go to the funeral home, tell them you want to set up a irrevocable pre-need agreement for your burial.
I didn't know that.
That way, the irrevocable, say you die, your family members decide to go someplace cheaper. Well, they try to go someplace cheaper and get the money back from that funeral home. Irrevocable means you can't do that. You have to go with where that person paid for. And it's already paid, so that way you don't have to worry about, the family doesn't have to worry about anything except for let's go to the funeral home. See, yep, Manny, your dad did that. My mother already got hers already planned out and paid for. She has plots already. So that's what my husband and I are going to do. We're going to go ahead. We have life insurance. Yep, that's why I can stand lilies to remind. Yes, the lilies, I love them, but it's like I walk past them and I'm like, oh, and I have the flashback of funeral homes. You were so right, Robin. So the funeral home said, write your obituary, put it together, give it to them. They will keep it with your paperwork. So when you die, they'll give you a card also. They'll give you a sheet of paper, print out it's an itemized list of everything you paid for. Mm-hmm. You will make sure that's all paid for. And make sure that they have done everything that your parents or whoever you paid for the funeral home has paid for. They paid for the limo for the family to sit in and drive, paid for the time for the funeral home, time for the burial, paying for your plot is already set up, everything. So you can go to the funeral home and tell them you want to set up an irrevocable account and you want to buy plots. Plots is where you'll be buried in the ground, or you could be buried in the cemetery where they have those the crypts. So
that's scary too.
Yeah, and
I watch too many horror movies.
Manny's when his father passed, he said all he had to do was buy the coffin.
Oh wow!
His father paid for everything. But Manny, now you could also burn you.
I'm
not burning you, Manny.
I told
it is not in the Bible to be burning.
It's
so
cheap.
You can also pay for the coffin as well. They'll take you in the room where they are and pick which one.
Right.
Did this for my mom after my dad passed 3 years ago. I'm sorry about your loss.
Right.
But yes, so we see a lot of GoFunds. Why have a GoFund when you could think ahead and pay for everything? And it's all in payments. You can set up payments. And then when it's paid off, you get the paperwork saying paid in full. And you put it in a lockbox or a security fireproof box.
Right.
That way, write up a list as well. Our attorney told us this. Write up a detailed list of where everything is and put it together in the lockbox. So that way when you die and family got to go through everything, they can go ahead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's right there and it's all planned out. This gives less stress to the family, more time for them to grieve, and just show up.
Right.
So we're going to go ahead and contact my cousin, Marcy. I know Marcy is watching. So Marcy, I'm going to try to get you on here. His name is Lamarr, but I call him Marcy. We all call him Marcy in the family. But his Facebook is saying, where are you? There we go. All right, Marcy. So it's sent to you. And so, okay. Why do I always have problems trying to get this off? Okay, so I sent him the request. Marcy, accept the request. But Marcy does life insurance. You know there's different plans of life insurance. Do you have life insurance?
I do.
Okay. Does your Treese have life insurance?
She do too.
Okay, good.
Hubby
and I got it to where the kids, we didn't tell them how much.
I think my wife is trying to kill me. She had life insurance and I didn't know. She's trying to kill me. My wife trying to look me in my eye. My wife is trying to kill me. She got wait. She got life insurance. I didn't even know. Just look me in my eye.
Do you have it in a fireproof box?
No, I ain't got no fireproof box. It's in a flexible binder.
You need to get a fireproof box because God forbid there's ever a fire, your important documents, birth certificate, social security, because once if you don't have that, how they gonna really know it's you?
Right. Right. No, everybody gonna know me.
Well, we know you.
No, everybody.
But the government needs hardcore proof database, baby. They want
I'm T-Man,
paperwork.
a.k.a. T-Mandable, B.K.A.
I'm like,
Anthony
he was
Hood.
my partner.
I know
my
him.
partner.
I
That's
know.
his wife.
Think about
They
it.
be like,
I don't know him.
where's proof?
We want those.
That could be Joe Schmo.
Right.
But Marcy,
I ain't trying.
while swimming.
Oh, man.
Well, you already know I don't like your ex-wife. I told you never to marry her in the first
Oh,
place,
whoa,
Manny.
whoa.
But we was they're
Whoa.
divorced. That's his ex. He said his
Yeah,
ex.
but
I
you
don't
know,
like her. I never liked her. She knew I didn't like
She
her.
probably got some type
She
of...
already knew I didn't like her.
I didn't say nothing.
I love you, Manny,
I
but
didn't-
you know I know.
I didn't say nothing about your ex-wife.
Robin said, yeah, we know you. You straight truth, Robin, right?
If you see me in the street,
I don't
I ain't say nothing. I said nothing about your ex-wife.
Look.
If she see me in the street, I ain't say nothing.
And you know, hubby says I'm very protective of the men in the family. I am, because
That's how my sister
they
is.
can't see what I can see. And I have to let them know. And then after I let them know and they still take that jump, I'm like, all right, fool, I told you.
Well.
I love you, but I told you.
Right.
So hubby was like, you were so protective of the men. I was like, because they don't see what I see.
That's how my sister
You know,
is.
men can't see what a woman can see. A woman can recognize real, and a woman can recognize fake.
Not all women
Not all women would.
can recognize real and fake.
Oh, okay. Well, I can.
Oh.
I can look. She marked for like, yo, your radars go up real quick. Manny, can you tell Marcy to chime on in? I already sent him the invite. He said, put your hands where my eyes can see. Straight buck wild and place the pig.
You went to Buster Rhymes in his joint.
Hoo-ha! I got you all in check. Right, babe?
Ah.
Yep. Mr. Dalton knows. He sure do. Look, Robert said true stuff. Right? For real, though. Man, listen. You have to watch who you marry, who you date. But we're going to talk about... because you never know. Some people may be trying to kill you for your money.
Right.
Okay?
Have y'all ever watched Snapped?
That movie right there.
All
All right, Marcy, I see you on. Now take the invite. I sent you the invite. It's sent. Take it. Here we go again. See, I should have never.
Here we go again.
Oh,
How do you work this gadget?
this gadget be driving me bonkers, man. Okay, seriously. There we go.
I'm on my Kermit the Frog.
Marcy,
It ain't my
accept it.
business.
So, also, you could do mutual funds, you could do stocks, save money for your kids ahead of time.
Right.
Why have them broke when you die?
It'd be a separate bank account.
No, you could do, never got, check it. It said I sent it to you. Click the little man to say join in. Want to be ad, want to come on.
Click the little man. You got the plus on it.
Marcy.
Or that arrow on it.
With the arrow. It's the little man with the arrow going to the right. To the right. Click that to join on. Gotta go. Catch you soon. All right, Robin.
All right.
Thanks for chiming in.
Thanks for
We
chiming in.
appreciate it. So, seriously, life insurance, financial status, have it set for your children. So that way they don't have to worry about anything. And leave a little chump change. Now, if they're under a certain age, have a stipulation. Put it in a trust. You can have your attorney do that.
Oh, yeah.
Put it in a trust until they reach a certain age. Do you want to tag Albert? No. Marcy. Oh, Marcy. So, while my cousin's still trying to figure out that technical difficulty. So, what is it you don't have?
What's that? What do you mean?
Well, you have life insurance. Is it low or is it high? We're not going to say how much because our kids don't need to know that until we die. We don't want them trying to kill
we got
us.
a low one right now is what we can afford right now. We're just doing
But-
what we can afford.
But see, I only paid $38
Mm-hmm.
a month. for big.
Mm-hmm.
They do the blood test because they want to show. Oh, okay. There's different type of life insurance, people. If you get over 100,000, they'll do a blood test to make sure that you don't have any diseases or anything that's going to kill you sooner. And once you do the blood test, you're good. You just set it up with your agent, how much you want to pay each month. And it's an automatic payment that comes out of our account. I don't even have to worry. It's programmed in my phone. At the end of the month, it always comes out. At the end of the month, the 529 college fund comes out. Our kids are set. Simple fact is, plan ahead financially for your kids. Plan ahead. It don't have to be a lot. You can even do mutual funds and just put $50 here every week. Every time you get paid, $50.
Yeah, because you see
it adds up.
You see a lot of people out here that there's already people like their family members are buried, but they don't have a gravestone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And
they're
they
buried,
still working to pay that off.
and they're still working to get the gravestone. You want the gravestone, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or sometimes you see somebody that was buried, and then probably like a couple months later they finally got the gravestone because they didn't have the money to pay for it. So now you got to wait and get all that. It's crazy.
It's expensive.
It's very expensive. It's very expensive.
It's like everything is a financial expense. It's like the older we get, the more everything costs. It keeps going higher and higher. But to have just a regular funeral is $10,000.
Right.
The casket alone is a fortune. You have to pay them to open up the grave site. You have to put everything down, wait for it to settle, then put your tombstone on. Or if you get put in the walls or inside, what are they called again? Mausoleums?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah.
That's more expensive. That's the upscale scale.
I have an aunt that was put in one of those.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
had a few people in the church buried in those.
I'm thinking we went to the thing.
Money.
I thought they were going to like bury her in the ground, and I'm like, all right, what are we doing at this big wall over here? And you see all these things, and I was like, oh.
And they open it up,
yeah.
and then they raise them up and slide them in. And I'm like, what happened to ashes? The ashes, dust to dust. I was like,
I guess it ain't enough room.
Well, you know what?
I don't know.
Remember that hurricane down in New Orleans?
Katrina?
When
all those bodies
caskets started floating up.
Ugh.
Heebie-jeebies. Yeah. After that, my husband and I both said, put us in a cement wall. So we will pay that extra money because I don't want my body floating in a casket just going down.
But your body, you ain't gonna know. You ain't even gonna be there.
Man, listen.
You ain't even gonna be there. I don't want my body floating around.
And remember when they said the crocodiles was eating them? Some of them, they couldn't get everybody. Which page did you say? It's on mine, Marcy. No, Marcy. It's just on regular mine. Marcy, Nicole Dalton's website. The page. Just go on and take the little man and click the arrow that's going to the right.
There she got it. Your explanation is hilarious.
Look, here's the man figure, and here's the arrow going that way. Just like that, Marcy. Pew! To the right. Anywho, back to the subject. Hey, Helen. So,
What's up?
Funeral homes are a lot of money. Oh, then you got to pay for the organist. You got to pay for somebody to sing if you want to sing. Really?
You don't need no music.
And people talk, and then you have to pay for things after the reception hall, or you go back to the church if you have it in the church. If you don't have it in the church, where you going to have the reception?
I want somebody beatboxing at my funeral.
Well, some people say when they die, I want a party.
I don't want no beatboxing.
Like, not beatboxing, but a party, like a celebration.
Yeah, that's what I want.
They're no longer here. Now, if they knew the Lord and gave themselves to the Lord, you could rejoice because they'd be up in heaven.
Right. It should be. Yeah, it's a party.
You know
my cousin, he passed not too long ago. My cousin, Douglas.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And we went to
that's right. Y'all went to that.
Yeah, we went to the funeral. And next thing you know, I'm like, they partied so long up in that joint. I mean, they partied. It wasn't no funeral. It was a nice service. Everybody dancing. and the choirs is going, everybody's singing, the pastors are doing their thing, the band is doing their thing, everybody got some good, stuff to say. The choir was getting it in. They all in the joint.
Yes, it's a rejoice.
But it was
Manny.
It was good though.
It's a rejoice. Like when I go out, I want the choir to be off the chain. So Marcy finally figured it out. All right.
There we go.
So it's saying it's adding, so Marcy's coming on. But I want you to sing the old school songs. I want church to be popping. I mean, I want the Holy Ghost to have its way. Like, I love the Holy Ghost, so let's call on, open up heaven. Let's go. Let's have what about that hot mess funeral of Aretha Franklin? That is not here for the stuff. The family said, nope. The family said that is not what their mother wanted.
Probably wasn't.
The mother had to script. They sure did.
They made a diva out of her.
They was livid. They said, this is nothing what my mother wanted. My mother had everything planned out and everything. They went off notes. Louis Farrakhan tapped off hat to him. He was the only one. His side. Livid. They said, this is nothing what my mother wanted. My mother had it. All right. We have our cousin Marcy on the line.
Let me get this volume up.
All right.
You good?
Yeah.
Let's see. Hold on. There we go.
All right. Say hello to the audience.
Hello, people. How we doing?
Hey.
All right. So we have Lamarr Parker, Butler-Parker on the line.
Hello.
What he does. What do you do with you, baby?
Well, hold on. Let me put my earphones on.
Okay.
All right, we good?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. We finally made it. We did it. Sorry, we're a little.
Waiting on you, cuz
Just getting a little situated here. So, I am a financial specialist. What I do is I help people accumulate, grow, and at the end of life, disseminate the legacy that they have worked so hard to build, and make sure that their family not only can take care of them, but can take care of themselves for generations to come.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yes, it does. But break it down a little bit more for the ones that don't.
So essentially, there's a few ways to approach this, eventual coming. We all want to not only make money and accumulate money and save money, but we also want to leave money for our kids, our grandkids, and all of that good-natured stuff. But we don't always approach it in the proper way and the most practical way. Not everyone's going to win the lotto, right? Not everyone's going to be 6'8", 250 like LeBron. Some of us have to work hard every day for that legacy, for that growth of legacy.
Yeah.
And it's particularly within our community. Oftentimes we neglect it. We're all about the right now and the today, but we can still celebrate and reward ourselves while planning for tomorrow and years to come.
Now,
so I heard some of your. Go ahead.
If someone wanted to get life insurance, but make sure it's not the little measly amount, can they do a payment plan, or how can they do it to where they can afford it, but make sure their kids is situated and the spouse?
Right. So there's two types of life insurance. You have your term, and you have your whole life. Term is like paying car insurance. You pay it, and then one day you need it. Well, your family needs it to lay you to rest, and to do whatever else they need to do with it, pay bills, replace your income, etc. Whole life is like investing in a home. You pay into it, it builds equity, and the day that you decease, your family gets to choose what they want to do with the bulk of it, and then they also choose how they want to lay you to rest. And so that's how we approach it. I never say one is more preferable over the other. I think that's doing a disservice to whatever client I deal with. I always take them as individuals and make sure that whatever I help them with fits their plan, and with the idea of eventually things change, life adjusts, and so sometimes we have to adjust the plan 5, 10 years from now. I always like to work with younger clients because when you're working with someone younger, you can really tailor and see their goals 5, 10, 15, 20 years out. I also like to work with older or people that have families, because as they grow, as their kids grow, as their family grows, as their goals and objectives grow, we can grow with them. And so that's how we like to approach it.
Right.
Any other questions?
So, well, you was gonna before I asked that question, you was gonna go into some other stuff. Go ahead, break it down more.
Oh my goodness. I totally forgot. I'm over 40, so sometimes you have to we have to press the reset. That's what it is.
Setting up a college fund for the kids, the 529 and things
Yes.
like that. What else can they do?
So when you talk about developing a holistic financial plan, you really want to start with where you're at, not only financially, but also where you're at as far as your goals. If you have children, there's a few different ways that you can approach college funding. There's a Coverdell plan, there's a 529 plan. You can also use a child's life insurance plan to get there too. Again, it all depends on how you want to approach it. With 529 plans, if your child doesn't go to college, you can't really use it for that. You kind of, the money kind of, whatever interest, you have to pay taxes on all that money if they choose not to go to college. If you know your child is going to college and you kind of have that set, that's a perfect plan for you. If you don't know that your child is going to college, everyone knows their child by the time they get to a certain age. If your child is going to be a chatty Cathy, if your child is going to be, whatever their personality is. If they're going to be, a construction, what your child is. So,
Right.
You can really structure it, in today's approach, at least in my approach, you can structure what you want to do with your financial plan based on what you know about yourself and what you know about your family. And you don't necessarily have to stick to one.
Well, what entails for the Coverdell plan?
The Coverdell plan is more geared towards like stuff for high school, elementary. If they're going to a private school or something like that, that's when you want to use it, because it's limited in how much you can put into it. The 529 has a lot more that you can put into it, but again, if you don't use those for education, you kind of have to pay taxes on all that money that you saved. Which is not, that's not to say that it's bad, but it's something just to think about. As you move into, you may grow into a larger tax bracket, and that's additional money you may not want to, pay taxes on or whatever have you. So, again, I like to tailor it towards the individual and make sure that we can. So what else do we want to talk about? Am I freezing up? Is that better? Okay.
Yeah. So actually, why don't you tell everybody here what else you do? Now, just to let you guys know, Marcy is phenomenal with the numbers. He was the one I called when I was in college trying to figure out some of these math class problematics. was like, we don't use no Fahrenheit up in here. What is going on? I was like, Lord Jesus. I was like, Marcy, I need your help.
Listen, I just gave you a blueprint. You did all the work. I didn't do much. You did the bulk of the
You helped
work.
me a lot. Look, woo. I got an A in that class, and when the professor gave it to me, I was like, I almost fell off the chair. I was like, what? I shouted out that door. I was like, thank you.
Nice. I didn't know you got an A in that. I feel accomplished now.
Look, I graduated summa cum laude.
Oh, you did. That's right. You did tell me that. You did tell me that. Good, good, good. My goodness. So yeah, what I like to do again, I work with everyone. I work with most anyone. But I like to make sure that, in our community that we really have an idea of what leaving a legacy is all about. A lot of times, when we pass away, the first thing we reach for is a GoFundMe, or
Right.
some sort of, whatever, for people to hand out. Oftentimes the family has to get together. I've had cases where families couldn't bury their loved ones for weeks, trying to just get money just for the bare minimum of, of a service that didn't entail much. And my idea is, if you can't afford, something extravagant for now, you can still get in something that's reasonably inexpensive that will not only cover your expenses, but also leave money for the family, to go on and not only mourn, because mourning process, it don't end after the funeral. When we lose loved ones, I've had, wives lose a husband, and it took them legitly 6 months to even go back to work. How do you pay bills when you have one less income and you still need to kind of get yourself together? How do you pay bills for 6 months? That becomes, people don't really think about that part of it. They just think, I've heard a lot of people say, I ain't leaving my kids nothing. They sucked all the blood out of me while I'm here. They're going to have to do it themselves. That's all fine and good as far as letting them find their own way. But mommy needs her time to mourn your loss. How are they going to go to school if they go to private school? How are they going to eat? How are they going to pay after school? These things have to be taken into account. And if we don't just think about the basics, never mind making them millionaires or 100,000aires or whatever have you. Just think about the day-to-day life stuff that we have to take care of. Now remove yourself from the equation. Let's just think about that. Let's just think about, aftercare, clothes. I have a 6-year-old son. I have to buy a new wardrobe every 3 months.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, how can you leave your loved one, your significant other, or even, you don't have one, if you have a parent that has to take care of your children? How can you leave your parents, which is their grandparents, with that responsibility of replacing, whatever your annual income is? Particularly, I'm in the 5 boroughs. So $40,000-$50,000, you're right at the poverty line in New York City.
Yeah.
So how can you leave your grandparents who's probably on a restricted income, or your loved one who's half of whatever you're bringing? How can you leave them that responsibility to replace $50,000-$60,000 on top of dealing with the emotional stress of not having you around?
Exactly.
And that's the thing I really stress with my clients. Don't necessarily think about leaving them rich. Think about, making it feasible for them to get by day to day.
Right.
And if you can do that, you can do that in an economic way, and still, with the idea of, this is what I can afford now. If you can afford, a term is generally much cheaper. if you can only afford a term, do a term. Life happens. We always get better jobs. We get more income. Every now and again, we get a tax hit. You can always take that tax money and start, some sort of annuity with that and let that grow and leave it there and just let it sit for 10 or 15 years and create additional income for yourself when you're retired on top of, paying $20, $30 a month for maybe $100,000 policy or $200,000 policy. So there's plenty of ways to not only create a legacy, but also, put some savings away for you for your retirement without breaking the bank or without, having to eat ramen noodle day to day, which was a great college meal. But when you're an adult with kids, you don't want to eat ramen noodle every day. My son, I wish I would come on with some ramen noodle for my son. He'll be like, what is this, bro?
But you said a lot of things a lot of parents need to hear because the simple fact is some of us are thinking ahead.
Right.
Some of us, and it's sad to say, some of us, but it's true, are just thinking of now.
Right.
Like, oh, we can go this. But
right.
What about if a car accident happens tonight and you're not coming home?
Absolutely.
What have you left ready for the future? What have you left your foundation? Right. What have you left your family? With bills, hospital bills from what occurred on the street, the ambulance got to clean up, the firefighters may have to be called out to clean up the accident. There's a lot in play. And
Absolutely.
Right, sometimes 6 months is not even enough.
It's not enough. It's not enough.
You've been with your couple, your husband or your wife for over 30 years.
Right.
And you just say, somebody says, you got to come back?
Right.
What? I'm still trying to process. My bed is empty now. I'm still trying to process not getting that hug or smelling his shirt. And, you know what? So that's something people do need to think about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's tremendously important.
That's selfish of some parents saying, I'm not leaving my kids nothing. You should want more for your child.
Right.
So
right.
You know what I mean? So when they leave, even if you don't want them to have it all, have a trust account set up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the other thing, even with single parents, sometimes, if your kids are young, you can't necessarily leave them as the primary beneficiary, but you can leave a trust for it. So you can still have a life insurance policy and create a trust. And in that trust, whoever's their caretaker can't touch it, and it has to go to them when they're at a certain age. So you can always plan and reduce that stress of, are they going to get to it, or is the family going to spend the money before they get to it? There's always a way to address that.
I got that covered.
Good.
You already know, Mom.
I know.
I got that covered. And if they're not 25, they can't get it. And it's to the point where whoever is the guardian, they have to take it to the court to show why they need a certain amount of money to come out of that account.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, I believe. They're not spending my baby's money.
And the other thing is, other than what I also find is we procrastinate a lot of times.
There's a lot of procrastination.
Yeah, we procrastinate. I'll tell you guys a little story. A year ago, I had a client, and she was a grandma, got herself a policy. Hers had lapsed, so she had the foresight to not want to leave that burden of, wanting to have her kids pay for her burial. She actually wanted to get one of her children a policy, who was an older gentleman with 3 boys and a wife. Unfortunately, he procrastinated and put it off until he had a unfortunate heart attack and passed away with 3 young kids. And we all know how the rest of that story goes. And it didn't cost. This is how much it it upset me because the policy was roughly about $150,000 for his 3 kids and wife, and it only cost $20.
Oh man.
And
Oh
so,
man.
and I offered, I gave them the offer, and he had his heart attack a month later.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh.
And it just things like that. I'm deeply, it upsets me.
Yeah.
Because now, obviously the wife has to adjust her life. She was a stay-at-home mom, so stuff like that really, we never want, I don't understand why we would put our family in that type of situation to feel that stress and that angst about, how we're going to eat, how I'm going to clothe the kids. Now
Right.
I got to go to work. I haven't worked in, however many years. So please do not, if you do anything, don't procrastinate. Do it as soon as possible. Listen, whoever you do it with, just do it because, it creates a better and a safer and a less stressed environment for the family.
Right.
You're right. Now, can you handle what states can you operate in?
So we're a nationwide company. We don't, we are in all states. Only state that gets a little dicey, of course, is Florida. I mean, Florida is always a little dicey with everything.
It's like the whole
But other than that state, which gets a little dicey, the other ones, we're a nationwide company. We can help in any state that you live in. We're there for you. And again, even if I can't do it, I'm big on taking care of the client or potential client or whomever. I'd rather them get it with someone else than not have it at all.
Right.
That's my focus. You know what I mean?
That's exactly.
I'm gonna work hard. I'm gonna do what I gotta do regardless. So if I can pay it forward, I'm sure I'll be repaid. God will repay me somewhere, somehow. So I'm never worried about that. Yeah, I'm never worried about that. I'd rather you have it than not have it at all.
Now, I tell everybody, I'm not biased, but this is my cousin, and he is one upstanding citizen.
Thank you. I
And he
appreciate
is
that.
one that you could really trust and everything. When I say he cares about family, he cares 100%. Because Marcy,
Absolutely.
I'm gonna have to set up something for Jalen because we know he's going to college. So set up
Yes.
something for him. So
You're on my plan. You don't have a choice. My son said, "Do I go to college?" I was like, "You don't have a choice, bro. It's not even up for debate."
Right.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So you're already going to be hitting you up on that part. But now, what if people want to set up financial mutual funds, things like that? How much do they start off with? Does it have to be large or can it be small?
You can start, when you talk about retirement, you can start, with small monthly incremental set aside. You don't necessarily, you can just go, all right, I just want to start off with $25, $30 or whatever have you. It doesn't, what you want to start with is up to you. The key is what you want to end up with. And that's when you have to decide, do I buy that Prada dress or Prada whatever, or do I put that money aside every month for my retirement and just being able to live and, long-term care. We don't think about that. We're living longer. And when we get to a certain age, long-term care monthly can run up to $9,000 a month.
Sure enough can.
You know what I mean? Now, we all know that story. I don't know if you guys heard that story with B. Smith and her husband. She has Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
Just imagine how much that costs. Right. If you can start paying for that now, why not do that? You know what I mean? And you don't necessarily, there's all different types of ways, again, to address that. Long-term care is another animal, but retirement, creating additional income for your retirement on top of whatever you have with your company is always safe. Because we all know companies go down quickly, and with the company goes your retirement account sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's always it's always good to have your own set aside and not depend on a corporation, because a corporation is always going to look out for them in the end. Which reminds me, with the other pushback I give, not with procrastination, is people that go, "Oh, I have life insurance through my company, through my job," which is great. But two things: that life insurance is term, and then the day you get fired or you have a separation from that job, you no longer have life insurance. So you don't want to be stuck in that. And again, corporate America is about corporate America. So the day they want to downsize, they fire you on Wednesday. On Thursday, you don't have life insurance. You don't want to leave your family with that risk of, you getting into an accident, or the stress of being fired. You now have a heart attack and pass away. Always have your own, quote unquote, money under the mattress. And when I say money under the mattress, I mean your own little retirement account, even if it's just a little drop of buckets. Your own life insurance. Always have that stuff to the side, because now you have that security of knowing, if I get fired, if something happens to me where I can't work, if I'm a self-employed person and I can't work, you always want to have a little bucket of money off to the side to help you out. Never depend on whatever's going on. So,
to have that stash. Like
when
that Great Depression hit, how all the old people had money under their mattresses or in their mattresses or hid it somewhere.
Absolutely.
After having that shutdown, people better wake up and realize.
I mean, I'm actually a perfect. So in 2010, I actually had my own mortgage company. And then when the market crashed and the mortgage industry changed, obviously my income changed drastically. And what happened was, and this is one of the benefits, I don't really want to get into the benefits of products, but I had a whole life policy. Thank God my mother slapped me on the back of the head and said, "You better get one." but which I'll get to that later. But the cash value in that whole life policy carried me for about 3 or 4 months of income. And I was able to pay off bills and pay my mortgage and buy food and et cetera, et cetera. So that's the benefits of having your own, aside from whatever you're depending on, whatever your employment or your mode of income is. Put some aside, man. And life is life. You're always going to hit life. You're always going to hit those peaks and valleys and those difficult times. But if you can plan for those difficult times, that stress will be a little less stress. You still going to have some stress, but it'll be a little less stressful, knowing that, you can at least pay your mortgage and eat and not necessarily worry about, those things or whatever have you. So plan, that's the key word. Plan. I think I posted something in one of my my daily posts. Don't fail to plan was the gist of it. You don't ever fail to plan.
Because you never know what's going to happen.
You never know. Things can happen in a heartbeat.
Now,
and
how can
like,
people have a whole life? Like you was just talking about that carried you. How
yes.
can people set that up?
Well, the process for term and whole life is the same. You fill out an application. I as the person presents it to the underwriter. You take a physical to see, how healthy you are. Obviously, the healthier you are, the better rate, which is your monthly premium, the better that is. You don't automatically qualify if you have certain diseases or if you smoke, but you may pay a little bit more than someone who's completely healthy. And just think about it. It's just your health is like your credit report. If it's good, you get the best rate. If it ain't good, you got to pay a little bit more, which should give you an incentive to stay healthy. But
Yeah.
which is why I always say young people should get it. They should
While they
definitely get
young.
it while they're
Yeah.
young, because that's when you're at your healthiest. You don't have high blood pressure, hypertension. You ain't dealing with all the stresses of life. So you're healthier, and it's less expensive. You can get a lot of whole life and a lot of term for reasonably cheap when you're young. The older you get, it gets way more expensive, and you don't necessarily want to have to deal with that. And the other part is if you have family ailments, like diabetes, something like that. My son's mother is diabetic, so obviously he's susceptible to acquiring juvenile diabetes. So I got him a juvenile policy, so they can't ever deny him going forward. No matter what they do, they have to accept his insurance. Now, you can still get it as a diabetic, but depending on your health, you're going to pay a lot more than what you would as a juvenile. He hasn't been diagnosed with it yet, and at this point, they can't deny him. So,
Okay.
so
Can you have
that's that.
can you have
hmm
your whole life and term life simultaneously?
Absolutely. That is actually what I always encourage people to do, to get a term. Especially if they're in like a financial crunch and numbers are a little tough to pay, $70, $100 a month. I always say get a little whole life, because a whole life accumulates income. It gives you some equity, like a house. When you pay for X amount of years in your house, eventually you stop paying and you have whatever your house is worth. Usually it's worth more. If you've lived a long life, your house is worth more than what it was when you bought it. So I say get a little whole life, and then to get a bigger term to pay all the bills or whatever have you. Let's say you just bought a house, and you pass away 5 years into you paying for the house. How's your wife going to pay for a $500,000 house and you don't have an income now?
Right.
Right? So you can get $1 million term policy for $30, $40. The house is paid off. The wife has income. She has a ton of income. She can pay for the kids' college fund. She can take some of that money and put towards her retirement. So there's always ways to cut the pie and, you know, get to where you want to be, meet your goals. And that's why I said I don't like telling people only do term or only do whole life or only put money into your emergency account. Not everyone is a cookie. We all can't cut the cookie the same way. Sometimes we
Exactly.
got to nibble it a little bit. Some people can take whole bites. Some people got to take little tiny bites. But eventually we all get to the same place if we
Hmm.
plan properly. If we plan properly.
Oh, that's good to know because we're going to end on that. Adulting.
Yeah. I mean, it's important, man.
Yeah.
Don't think it's not important. Don't procrastinate. Don't let fear stop you. Don't let the thought of I don't have enough money to do it stop me. Don't even let your health stop you. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? You can still get something. You may not get what you want to get, but you can still get something that'll at least put you to some security and put your loved ones in security. At if something happens tomorrow, at least we can have a nice service and not do a GoFundMe or not have you sitting in a morgue for 3 and 4 months. Because it's
You
happened.
know?
It's happened where families can't bury their loved one for months at a time because they can't get the money together.
Yeah.
You know,
What's
so
the best type of insurance that people can get if they're really low income? Like if they have real low income, like let's say they're making minimum wage and they
minimum
got
wage
a
you
big
can
family.
get
Is that
term. Term is the
That's where,
best. You know, if you can get a, like I said, you can get a 500,000, half a million, $1 million term, you know, for $20, 25, $30 a month. Again, it's based on health and age, but you can still get a lot for a small amount. You know, that's not $20 for a half $1 million. That's $1, less than $1 a day in a month.
That's good.
wow.
You know, that's, you know, just think about it. The 30 days, you only paying $20 for that month. You know, you can spend that on lunch in a week if you're not careful. So,
Lunch for a week, so I
right.
understand.
Absolutely, absolutely. And here's the good thing about, you know, a lot of companies, but particularly Mass Mutual, if you buy, let's say you need to start off with a term, you can convert the money that you put into that term, you can convert that to a whole life later on.
Oh,
So all
wow.
that money you're paying in doesn't necessarily have to go to waste.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Because with a term, it just goes to, you know, if you don't use it, it just goes to waste. Term, and that's the other thing I didn't mention. Term, it's just with that. It's a term. So it's a 5-year, 10-year, 20, 30-year term. After that 30 or whatever that term is, if you want to keep it, the payments usually go up 3 or 4 times whatever you were paying. If you don't want to keep it, you stop it, but all that money you spent over those years is just gone to waste.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's what I would say. Term is the best, and just, you know, depending on the company. Some companies you can get a half a mil for $10 or $12, but you may not be able to convert it. And if $10 or $12 is your budget, do your budget.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just get it and worry about converting and all that other stuff when you get in a better financial situation. Because my thought is, if you're conscious about at least having it for your family, you're also conscious about what your goals are and where you want to be. So eventually, you're going to be able to afford more than $10 or $12.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's what I say. That's the legacy that you build. If it starts with $10 to $12, rock with it.
Now, you was talking about your little man, your
Mm-hmm.
insurance for him.
Yes.
Now, how do parents go about getting insurance for their children? Life insurance.
So it's the same process. The only thing was generally children, they don't necessarily take a physical. They just get approved. It's just I filled out the application on like a Monday. By Wednesday, he was approved, and that's
Okay.
it. They don't have to, you know, with us older. Once you get over 21, you got to do blood and urine and all that good stuff, and answer a whole bunch of questions. But you know, barring that, you know, the child doesn't have any major health issues. And even with the health issues, they'll just basically check in with the child's physician to see, you know, what the seriousness of the condition is. But generally, you know, juvenile policies are approved within days. They really, you know, they're approved quickly. No, it's not a big.
Company do that.
Yes, we do. We do. I just, you know, I did one of my clients, they just had twins, and, you know, yeah, and the cutest little babies, and they were a month old, and he got a juvenile policy for them, and they were approved in a couple of days. And
Wow.
and it was a whole life. And so again, back to the whole life. Not that I prefer one over the other, but he got a whole life. With us, we have a little niche product where you can stop paying after 20 years. So when his twins get 2021, they will have savings when their cash value in the whole life, their equity in the value, they'll have a savings of roughly about $30,000 to $40,000 that they can use for college, a car, or whatever have you. That's savings that they can have. So that's what I said. 529 is good. I would say, you know, you can do 529. If you don't want to necessarily worry about tax bracket, you can do juvenile policy. You can do, you know, a trust. You can do an annuity for college savings. there's different ways to approach college savings. This particular kind just chose the juvenile policy, and that's how much savings the child will have. So, and that tax free, that cash value is tax free in the whole life policy.
Did y'all hear that? Tax free.
Right.
Tax free on
Right.
the whole life.
Right.
Policy.
And you don't have to use it if he lets that money grow until they're 30, 40. They had like $200,000 of cash just sitting there waiting for him.
Wow.
So he's only paying about, I think, $25, $35 something. Not a lot of money, but the key is he started early when they were young.
Yeah.
The earlier you start, the less you have to sacrifice financially. The later you start, the more you got to sacrifice. So start early. Start as early as you can. Even if you have older kids, they're at that 18, 19, get them something. And once they hit 21, you can always transfer the payments to them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't necessarily have to pay that for them. You can go, listen, I already told my son, at 21, you ain't got to go home. But you got to get out of here.
And we got to stay on top of them to make sure they paying it every month.
Absolutely.
That was definitely my next question. Can they take it over?
Yes, they can take it over. Yes.
That's okay.
Well,
yeah, they can take it over.
Jalen, Miles, I'll be talking to you later about it. But write that down, Jalen and Miles.
Yes. Yeah. No, listen. I tell people all the time, start, and just to go back to that legacy, another thing that we don't do is we don't teach our kids about money and how to work money. And this is a good way to show them how money grows, how you can save money, what's the benefits of saving money, how compound interest works, how dividends work. Like I involve him with those things. Obviously he's 6, so I do it at a granular level. But we go through his piggy bank. We have to make money decisions. Do you really need this candy right now? Or do you want to save that for maybe a movie later? And that along with savings is how you pass your legacy on. Because when they get to 20, 21 and they don't know how to save, listen, my dad, they had an account for me, but we weren't necessarily talking about how to save. I was in college. I was by myself. I spent a lot of money on McDonald's and In-N-Out. By the time I ran through that money, I was like, oh, the tree don't keep giving me money in my bank account? Like, what's this? What's going on here? And I got that insufficient fund. I was like, yo, Ma, the bank is bugging out. No, it's not the bank. It's me.
You bugging it, right.
Right. So that's a good way. Like, I really impress this. Teach the kids start early with yourself, with your children, with whomever, about money management and the growth of money and all that good stuff and legacy. And so that's what I'm about, man.
We're now signing you up as a family person to have a little once-a-month conversation with all the kids growing up in the family.
Absolutely. I don't mind at all because it's important. It's so important. It's important though, because I'm saving for my son, but I don't want to have to pay a lot for him when I'm older. I don't want that burden. I didn't want to put it on my parents. I don't want him to think that it's okay. I want him to have a knowledge of how money works and how to save and good money decisions and all that good stuff.
That's right.
So when life happens, obviously if life happens, I'm going to be there to help out and do what I can. But I want him to go, you know what? I saved. I got a little something to the side. I'm okay. And then if you absolutely need me, come on home to daddy on a lease, on a temporary basis. Not long term, temporary. You know.
I love you.
Right.
We used to having the house to ourselves now.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, I love you, but
Right.
we
Uh,
love you.
It's been
And
nice,
then,
but right.
look,
Call me. FaceTime me now. That's what we can do. Let's FaceTime.
Right, right,
right, okay. What else do you have that you want to drop knowledge to?
So we talked about life insurance. We talked about annuities. Um, and let's talk about annuities a little bit because annuities is a good way to help with not only additional income as you get in retirement, but also as we discuss those healthcare needs that become, a not I don't want to say a burden, but they become difficult to manage when you talk about finances. Um, when you're talking about whether to put, an elderly in a home or whether to keep them at home, if you not only going back to you, Nicole, if you do a trust properly and if you plan properly, elder care, you can, strategically marry the two together and have retirement income, but also have elder care income for those monthly incomes in addition to whatever else, the elder has, if they have Social Security, if they have their own retirement. And that will make it a big ease on you. As you know, Nicole, my dad, is taking care of my grandmother right now,
Yeah.
who's suffering from, dementia and, diabetes and other things, you know. And luckily, we were able to catch it at an early enough time to kind of help her through. It's still difficult. It's still, it's still a financial, difficulty for the family to kind of pull stuff together. But it's easier than had we not caught it and had we not addressed it. Because I don't know about other states, but I know in New York State, if you have a home, if you own a home and you become elderly and you need to go into a home or you need at-home care, and you decide to sell your home, the state of New York takes those funds. And they
yes,
take
they
those
do.
funds.
Medicaid.
Yeah,
We took
they take all of that. Right. Yeah, they take all of that.
They take that.
And
Oh, and now they're going after annuities. They want their name
yes,
as the county to take it as beneficiary. They want
right,
you to change it, and if you don't,
right,
they'll sue you because you didn't change it,
right,
and they'll
right.
deny you Medicaid.
Absolutely.
Yes, I worked
Yeah,
with the rich.
yeah,
I learned how they hide their money.
yes, yes,
They do trust funds. They do
yes.
trust accounts. They put the
Trust accounts, right?
house to a trust so
Irrevocable
that
trust and all that good stuff. Yes. So again, those are ways that with you, Nicole, with people in your business, with attorneys, you have
hide
to
your.
marry. I always say introduce your financial advisor to your attorney
Yep.
because that's the best way to protect your legacy. That's the best way to protect all the stuff that you worked hard for and all the stuff that you set aside. Don't be so, and this is God, this irks me to my core when our older people are so secretive about everything. They
Yes.
they got secret money all over the place.
My clients, I'm like, why
Yes,
didn't you tell me about this? You hired us to protect your assets.
yes,
But
yes.
I work under Erie County and the counties. Oh, they
Mm-hmm.
go digging. When I said
Yes,
that you asked an accountant for some money, and then they send a list, it's called a pen list. Let me
yes.
tell you, I see accounts pop up. I'm like, I
Right.
asked you what account you had. You say,
Absolutely.
I didn't know how to tell you all that. Yes, boo boo, how am I
Yes.
going to protect you?
Yes. Yes.
No, I be
Yes.
so mad. I be wanting to
It
choke
it
them. Like, wow.
it,
You
it
can't
puts
hide
it
from the
put
government.
yeah.
The government's
You
going to protect
can't. Listen, when Uncle Sam come ask you questions, they already know the answers. They already know the answers. You're not hiding from Uncle Sam. They already
you.
know. They
No,
just waiting to see if you're gonna tell them or you're gonna
have them
hide
or
it, and
not.
that's gonna decide how they address you.
Have them
So
or not. Yup.
rather than hiding all of that, pick whoever you decide to be your confidant. Make sure you're completely and totally honest with them. Even if you ain't totally honest with your loved ones, make sure you're totally honest with your attorney, your accountant, and your financial advisor.
For real, man. They
Because
give me
those are the first people that touch your money before your family touches it.
You know?
And those are the people that can protect it. Yes, they can protect your money. And they can help you protect it. Even if you don't want your family, some people don't want I get it. I don't get it, but I understand. You don't want your family to know everything. You don't trust all your family members. Perfectly fine. I get it. But you better have an accountant, an attorney, and a financial advisor that know what color drawers you got on when you wake up in the morning. Because when things hit the fan, they're the ones that's going to be able to protect it and make sure that your family gets what they deserve and gets all that you worked hard for. So that's how I work, just, in the business. I want to be holistic. I want to be upfront. I want to make sure that I'm being protective of your goals, and I'm your cheerleader for your goals.
Exactly. Look, you know how many clients give me more gray hair? I'm like, really, boo?
I know.
I'm like, don't you know they got your social? That's why they go back 5 years. They want
Exactly.
your tax return.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
We don't have the machines that they have that just punch in your number.
Mm-hmm. They know everything. They got addresses, social security number. Exactly. I mean, listen, my accountant and my attorney know more about me than my mother, and she birthed me. You know? So it's important. I can't stress the importance of that enough.
Exactly.
So
yeah,
that's what it is, man. What else do we want to talk about?
Tell them how they can reach you.
Okay, so again, my name is Lamarr Butler-Parker. I'm on all of the social media. My website is, I just got a new one. Bear with me 1 second. You can reach my email, which is lbutlerp. I know I have like the longest name, but when I was young, I hated it. But now that I'm older, I know ain't nobody stealing my identity.
Yeah, you're unique. Your name is unique. Yeah.
No one's stealing that. So, what did I do? Oh, let me give up my which is all my social media. My phone number 917-774-7464. My email. Oh, I'm sorry. Phone number is 917-774-7464. My email is lbutlerparker, LBUTLERPARKER @financialguide.com. That's lbutlerparker @financialguide.com. My website is www.lamarr, LAMARR. Don't forget the second R, people. Very important. Don't forget that second R. Exactly. So LAMARR BUTLER -Parker PARKER.com. www.lamarrbutler-parker.com. That's my webpage. And you can kind of see everything that I kind of dabble in and have perfected my craft in, and how I help my clients through their goals. And actually on my website, you can make an appointment. You can shoot me an email. You can kind of do anything. Ask me questions, please. Even if you have someone already, that's perfectly fine. If you want to check and make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, just shoot me an email.
Okay.
And, we'll quickly answer those questions for you and make sure. If you want me to look over something for you, I'm always looking over something for clients, family that they have. I don't have a problem with it. Like I said, I'd rather you have something with someone else than have nothing at all with me. So I'm always open to looking over documents, your life insurance, your annuity, whatever else investment stuff you have. I'll look it over and tell you, most times I go, you're pretty good here. You don't need to do anything else.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's what I do most of the time. So that's all my stuff. And I'm on Facebook, Lamarr Butler-Parker. You can, join my Facebook, like my page, say hi, whatever have you. Most of the stuff I have there is tips.
L.A. Rashad, bro.
Huh? What'd you say?
Your name is L.A. Rashad.
But it's other page.
La Rashad.
Hold on, you got another page you ain't talking about?
Yes, La Rashad is that's my acronym. That's I have a life. That's my daddy page.
Right. I didn't know about it.
Listen.
You know about the other one?
Listen, I'm out here trying to find me a wife, man. Like, let me live right now.
If you have me investigating, I still have the right one.
I'm trying to live right now, I'm helping everyone else. I need help me.
I will help you.
Help me.
Help you. I will help you. I'm gonna friend you your other page I just found out about.
Well, which one did you know about? You didn't know about La Rashad or Lamarr or the business page?
I didn't know about the business page.
You're a friend on it. You're a friend on the business page, I believe.
La Rashad?
No, Lamarr Butler-Parker. You're a friend on the business page. I gotta double check that.
Yeah, we gotta double check that.
Yeah, but that's the page I work off. La Rashad is where I post all my daddy pics and my having fun.
Yeah, I'm on that page.
Yes. You definitely check that page. Gets more check. Yeah. But the business page is the business page actually has all the information as well. So.
Okay, well,
whichever.
Friend me for the business page so I can tag your business page with this video and everything else.
I will. Definitely.
Everyone that comes on our show, we run it. We do all the episodes every week. Or twice
perfect.
out the week, I'm uploading it and I'm tagging the person. So I'll tag your business page and I'll tag your regular page. And then it'll be on our website as well. And it's on our Facebook WYTAP page as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, on iTunes podcast.
I didn't know that.
YouTube.
Y'all big time then. I mean.
Look, we rather do this as our day job.
Absolutely. Listen, I agree. Well, you.
Come on, T. I got a book. We're working on March.
She forced me into this life. I didn't want to do it.
Nicole is very influential. She's a driving force and very influential. Right. When she speaks and asks a question, she's really not asking you. She's really telling you this is what you need to do, and this is how we're gonna do it.
Look, if Wendy Williams' show has an opening, I'll take it.
Listen, we need to get you on there. I'm positive you'll go over there and just wreck house.
How you doing?
No, I'm Boo Boo. That's Wendy. How you doing? No, I'm Hey Boo Boo. Look at here. Look, I'm unique, baby.
Absolutely.
There's only one me.
Yeah.
One in a million.
Yes. Oh, anything else for the? I'm gonna check into that, babe. That's your cousin.
What did he say?
He posted. He said Wendy Williams show has an opening.
Listen.
Look.
Let's make that happen.
I'm making it plain. If I go, my engineer gotta come with me.
Absolutely. Hey, Samark, that means she needs a whole new wardrobe if she gets accepted, bro.
I got a wardrobe. You already know, Marcy. I get that line. We sign on that dotted line. First, I'll have the contract. The attorneys will go write our contract.
Absolutely.
And then you already know. He thought I had a wardrobe. Now.
I mean, listen. He'll never get out of Geico. 24 hours.
He said
Uh, hilarious.
Anything else
Hilarious.
you want to tell everybody?
Man, I'm just gonna say the same thing I've been saying the whole time, man. Just plan early, plan often, be flexible. You know, as we grow, our flexibility and our ability to change the plan and adjust the plan, you know, that happens. Don't be fearful and don't procrastinate the planning process. You know, if we fail to plan, we plan to fail. You know what I mean? So just do it. Just do it, man. Don't hesitate with it. If you a little scared, you know, contact me, contact someone that you feel comfortable with. Talk about what you want to do, and I was telling someone, one of my friends of mine, he was like, you know, I'm gonna call you, you know, when I get my money up. I was like, bro, when you need to go somewhere, you get in the car, you don't start driving and then go GPS where I'm going. You sit, you get your phone, you tap in the address, it starts doing that squirrely thing, and then
Yeah.
it goes beep, how you want to do it. It gives you options now. It's the same thing with financial planning. Don't procrastinate and go when I get my money. Go, this is where I want to be. How do I get there?
Yep.
You know what I mean? And if you can do how do I get there, you never know. It may be a way that you can get there and get to where you beyond where you thought you were going to be. And that's
Yeah.
usually what happens. People end up further than what they thought they had the capacity to do. They usually end up way past that. So don't procrastinate. Oh, when I get my money, oh, when this or when that. Just sit down with someone and put the plan down, and you'll probably realize, oh, I can do this now. And then when I get to a certain level, oh, I can adjust this a little bit. Let me adjust and, you know, put a little extra, or let me add this type of account for, you know, I was going to go into my no tax, little tax, a lot of tax bucket. There's 3 buckets of money, but we'll do that for another day. There's 3 buckets of money. No tax, partial
Well, if you
tax.
want to know about the no tax, I want to know that now.
Listen, that is another hour. We don't have that much time. We'll reschedule. I gotta give a little bit so you can come back.
Okay. Well, we're going to be coming back.
You know, 3 buckets of money. That's the theory. Just that's the goal. 3 buckets of money.
Well, I'm coming back because I got your number and you my cousin. So I'll be
Yes.
calling you about what's the no bucket for the tax, no tax.
Yes.
You know,
Yes. Yes.
me and Shy trying to make more quiet, slow moves this year.
Absolutely. We call it full tax, partial tax, no tax.
Yeah, I want to know about the no tax. I'm tired of paying the taxes. Let's do some no tax.
Absolutely.
Let's get it.
Me and you both.
You know.
So
Right.
that's it.
All right. Well, say your name again.
Lamarr, 2 R's, Butler-Parker. I'm here. We're with Mass Mutual Blue Ocean. 917-774-7464. L. Butler-Parker at financialguide.com. I just want to thank everyone. I didn't even see the comments. I was so engrossed in the conversation. I want to thank you and your partner for just allowing me to come and spread some information, because that's what I'm about. Just give the information, man, and hopefully someone can use it and it puts them in a better situation.
When people don't know, they lack the knowledge. But
Absolutely.
once we bring knowledge to them, they
Absolutely.
cannot say they lack it anymore.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
YTAP is here to spread as much knowledge as possible.
Right.
Because we want to help everybody grow. We don't want, like, when God gives us something, we want to lift them up and turn around, but I'm trying to help you. Now, if you don't want to be helped, that's on you, but at least you can say, we didn't
Right.
help and show
Right.
you and give it to you. Like,
Right.
here's the plate, now feed it you.
Absolutely.
Either you want to eat with me or you don't. If you don't,
Absolutely.
I got to keep it moving because I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to stack that money. I'm trying
Absolutely.
to go higher. You
Absolutely.
know what I mean?
Absolutely. You know?
So we thank you for coming on and dropping the knowledge.
Much appreciated. Yeah, much appreciated,
That's
man.
why I was
Just
kind of quiet. I sat back and listened because there's a lot of this I didn't know.
glad. Listen, I'm glad I can help, man. That's that's a part of that's the biggest part of my job, offering knowledge and making sure that people understand it in a way that that I'm not making it difficult to understand, or I'm not talking over their head. I want to make sure that they have a clear idea of what to do, how to approach it, and what the end result is.
Yeah, knowledge is power. It's like, and like you said, a lot of people wasn't taught this growing up. A lot of
No,
people were not taught how to handle it.
absolutely, absolutely,
You know what I mean?
absolutely,
Let's see less gold funds and let's see more people climbing by having life insurance. It's only
absolutely.
$20, $30. It's like, yo,
It's,
life insurance, so there's no more gold funds.
right. It's not. Listen. $20 is not a lot of money. I mean,
No, it's not. I paid
we spend
38
that on our phone bill, on our cell phone bill, on our cable, or
Right. Way
you
more.
know, that's something easy that you can start with, and once you get at that growth point, because we all got to grow at some point.
Yep.
Once you're at that growth point, you give a little more. It's not.
Exactly.
So
Right.
thank you again, guys. I appreciate
Well,
you.
we thank you.
And
And
I gotta get Xavier up there. He's always asking about his cousins, and he's been pressing me to do two things: get a house with a big yard and get a wife. I said, I don't know about the wife, but I can take you to my cousins for the big yard.
come on up. You already know. You already know. Bring his passport. We go to Canada and everything. You already know.
Absolutely, we gotta do that this summer for sure, for sure.
I know Uncle Stan said he ain't coming up again until this summer.
Please. Please, don't even get me started. Don't get me started.
I know. I know.
All right, cousin. Love you much.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I didn't get your partner's name. I forgot his name.
Mr. Anthony.
My name's Anthony Hub.
Anthony, pleasure, brother. Appreciate you, man. He wasn't at the wedding, though, was he?
No.
No.
Okay. Definitely. Well, good to meet you, brother. Appreciate you. When I get up there, we'll definitely wrap it up, man.
All right.
Yeah, so they can exchange stories. Marcus was the one that talked at the wedding and talked about, I was wondering who could ever be a match for my cousin. And then I met Nicole.
She told you that story? Listen, my cousin, I love him. He talks and talks some more. And I never thought I would meet someone that could match that. And I was like, yep, we met her.
If you see most of our podcasts, she do the most talking.
Love it.
I said something and she got another story to go with it. So.
Oh my God. All right, guys, listen, I'm gonna go out. My son's over here is the man in pizza. It's pizza night, so you know how that goes.
Love you.
Love you too, guys. Take care.
Later.
All right.
Take care. Later.
Bye.
Bye.
Continue without guests, yes. All right, everyone, you heard it here.
Yeah.
We dropped the knowledge. Now it's time for you to apply. Apply it to your life. If you don't have life insurance, you could go with Lamarr, Butler-Parker, or you could go with someone else. But we just want you to get life insurance.
Everybody need it.
Save the burden from your family to have to mourn you and find money to pay for your burial.
Right.
It's simple. All you got to do is pick up the phone. And when this video is over, Mr. Hoof, he's going to put it all together with his business card, his information, for if you loved how he interacted and dropped the knowledge for you and gave you great tidbits, you could contact him.
Yep.
And we're going to post it on our WYTAP page. We're going to post it on my page. We're going to post it on Anthony Hoof's page. And we're going to post it on our YouTube. We're going to post it on our Soundcloud, iTunes, Googleplay.
Right.
We are If you do not have life insurance, get it.
Definitely need it. We all need that
Get
life
it.
insurance. You
My
can't put that
husband and I,
burden on our family.
we have the long term, but now we're gonna hook up and do the whole term too.
Yeah, you get it all.
Yeah, because the whole term, he says, when it's up, you can cash it in, and it's no tax on it. That's my favorite word. No tax.
No tax on life insurance. Sound good to me.
Okay, and he said you could have whole term and long term all at the same time.
Right, so you can
Now
put them
that's
together.
something I didn't know. So I learned some things too. So the
Right.
simple fact is, don't put your family in a bind when you die.
Right.
Anything could happen.
Right.
I had a client say their girlfriend's daughter, 19, dropped dead. 19. They got to pay for her burial. Now, parents don't never want to have to bury their child. They always want their child to bury the parents.
Right.
But sometimes it doesn't work like that. My cousin just told you they have junior life insurance policies.
Right.
We're going to get that for our kids.
It covers everything.
Life
It covers your
insurance.
kids.
Get it. Get it for your child. Get it for you. Get it. Don't leave the burden on your family. Let them be able to mourn you and don't have to worry about financial portion.
You know what? I'm not even going to lie. It's hotter than fish sticks in here. And
I was cold.
It's hotter than fish sticks and hot grease up in this joint.
I was cold.
I'm looking at my face. I'm sweating.
You
I'm-
are.
I might
But
need
I'm
life
warm
insurance
now.
before I get up out of this joint.
He likes it cold, but I like it hot.
It's
I don't
hot in
like
here.
the cold, man.
Ain't
The
it?
devil is a liar. No,
He slapped me in the back of the head. It's hot in here, ain't it? Yup.
I hope this helped everyone.
Right.
And like and share this post. Put it on your page. People really need to know. Cover yourself. Help your family out. Don't leave them destitute to pay for your burial.
Right.
Yeah, you
Right.
could be cremated, but that still costs money.
You can't leave them with your debts. Can't leave them with
Don't
nothing.
leave them. No, once they die, the debt is done.
Oh, I didn't know that. See, another thing I learned today.
Unless you got a spouse. But
That's what I'm. That's what I was getting at.
don't leave it on other people. Come on now. Get life insurance. And it's not that expensive. Like my cousin said, if you could buy that Prada bag or that Michael Kors bag or that Coach or the Apple Watch, you could put $20 to $30 aside and pay for life insurance.
Right. It ain't even
And they
that
do
expensive.
automatic payments. That way you don't miss writing in the check. You can set up
Pop it
automatic
right up to-
payments.
yeah,
My
it
husband and
counts.
I got automatic payments at the end of the month. It comes straight out.
Don't even miss it.
I don't have to worry. I see it come out. I'm like, boop, good. My kids is covered.
Right.
I'm covered. What if something happened to my husband? I'm not going back to work right away because I'm going to have to focus on getting make sure my kids' heads are right. My head is right.
Right.
Yeah, no. Have life insurance that can help that person go on and not have to rush back to work. Make sure the gap is filled, y'all.
Definitely.
Anything else, Mr. Hook?
No, but I sweat my waves out.
His wave's still in. Well, I am Nicole, a.k.a. Sunshine.
And I am Anthony Hood.
And this is WYTAP. You heard it here first. You had no knowledge. Now we gave you the knowledge. Apply it to your life. Make it better for your family.
Right.
Especially with these babies. Don't leave them fighting to survive. Yes, great discussion. All right. We're signing out. Have a blessed night. Safe weekend. See you next week.
And be careful on that wind.
Yeah, that one is so disrespectful. That wind is causing accidents too.
Yeah. Knocking tractor
Be
trailers
careful
over.
out there.
All right.
You could wake up one day and not go back to sleep.
Huh?
Um,
What?
you know what I mean.
What?
You could wake up one day and not wake Oh Lord.
That's like saying I
Look,
woke up
know.
dead.
We gonna delete that part.
That's like saying I woke up dead.
You wake up one day and you'll be gone the next.
There you go.
Make sure your life is covered and your family is covered. I know, shut up. He gonna clown me for the rest of the night on this one.
I woke up dead.
You never know. Today may be your last day.
Hey,
Are your
hey.
kids covered?
Sure.
You know?
You hear me? Sure. I had to put my.
He had to think about that for a minute. But
Yeah.
seriously, life insurance, if you don't have it, get it.
Right.
Get life insurance on your children. My cousin Marcy just said. All right. Have a good night.
All right.
Tune in next week. More fire for ya. And
Oh,
more
yeah.
knowledge coming too.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right, we're signing out.
Peace.
What y'all talking about? What y'all talking about? What y'all talking about? What y'all talking? What y'all talking about? What y'all talking about? What y'all talking about?
If you ain't talking the real, then we ain't gon' talk to ya.